So hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Cheesable. I'll be sharing with you some of my own rankings of Dune Imperium cards. This is all based on my own personal experiences with these cards, with some input from Lannister. Okay, I think this list will be highly useful to new players, especially people who have not used all the cards before. So I decided to do this tier list based on the cost of the cards. Most of the time you look at the Imperium row, you see how much you have, and you look between the two cards of the highest cost, and you ask yourself, which one is better? So if you look at these two cards, right, Guild Chief Administrator versus Landing Rights, you'll think, isn't the card on the left better? It has better access, it has more icons, they both have a shipping icon. So we'll come to this later, but to frame this tier list, I made a table on the icons and what benefits they are. So you can use this as a rough guide to rate all cards. So in essence, a faction bump is worth half a point. Okay, 2 influence is good, 1 influence is bad. Okay, a sword or 2 doesn't really do anything, but 3 swords and up do affect combat. So first things first, we'll be going over the rankings S to D. S is better, D is worse, and it will all be anchored by an Arrakis liaison on tier C. And the tiers will be as follows, with S tier cards likely to increase your win rate, D tier cards it feels bad to have it in your deck, and a liaison you're neither happy or sad to have it in your deck. So let's go over the S tier cards. So these cards will win you the game. They're quite straightforward. Okay, so first you have Web of Power. Web of Power reveals for a faction bump. That alone is enough for it to be S tier. And everything else on the card is just good. Okay, Firm Grip. So Firm Grip, right, when you have this card, you end up going to Wealth a lot, and you get 2 faction bumps. So late in the game, also it can carry you to buy multiple Spice plus flows, assuming you have the Emperor Alliance. It's a good card. So next we have Guild Ambassador. Guild Ambassador provides you a win condition once you have the Spacing Alliance. So it's easily cycled on action play and Mentat also. Um, Overall, for the S tier cards, you can see that faction bumps are very highly rated. They single-handedly can bring a card into a high rating. Moving on to the lowest tier, starting with Duncan Idaho. This card is very awkward to play. The swords don't really matter, and having no persuasion hurts. You might argue about the water, but I think you should try the card. It just doesn't feel good. But the worst card on 4 costs actually is Guild Chief Administrator. You might think that because it has a shipping icon, the card will be good, because shipping is very good in the Rise of X. However, all the other text doesn't really matter because it has a terrible on reveal. Okay, when you look at this card, all that I care about is this one shipping icon. And will I pay 4 influence to buy a card with just a shipping icon on reveal? No, I would not. It's a bad card. So moving up the tier list, we have Spice Traders. So Spice Traders, I put it at tier C. I don't care if I have it. I don't care if I don't have it. If I have my get deck and I have the Feminine Influence, great. Okay, but if your hand is bad, you can toss a card for 2 Spice, or sometimes you just want a 2 Persuasion. It's an okay card, almost equivalent to a Liaison. Next, we have Other Memory. So Other Memory, this card is very awkward to play. I have many games where this card will just sit in your hand as a 2 persuasion card. Obviously, if you have good Bene Gesserit cards that require synergy, this card will move up in your rankings. But buying it first without any payoffs, it just feels like a liaison in hand. Next, we'll move to the B tier. So to the B tier, we actually at the top of the B tier we have Gun Doctor. So Gun Doctor has the equivalent of 5 swords on reveal. Okay, and 5 swords is great. Okay, it will win you a lot of battles early or give you second places very cheaply. It's very difficult to play around. People will often forget about it or over anticipate it and put excessive amount of troops in or not enough troops in. Okay, one thing to note when playing this card is better to keep it in hand rather than to play it, even if you can minus everyone's troop by 1. Okay, swords are not terrible if you have enough of them, and 5 swords is enough. So next on the list, we have Smuggler's Topter. So Smuggler's Topter, I think a lot of players will rate this as a A or S tier card. However, that very much depends on having Spacing Friendship. If you have the Spacing Friendship, this becomes an S tier card. But if without it, right, this is an average card, almost a dead card in your deck. Okay, assuming you get the Friendship at around 4 to 5, it's an average B tier card. Next on the list, we have Fremen Camp. So Fremen Camp is very similar to Spice Traders. It grants you the option to commit heavily into combat, which is quite good late in the game actually. It's an okay card overall. And finally, on the B tier list, we have Imperial Bashar. So this card is one of those cards where you can buy and you can build around it. You can buy it and pick up a lot of daggers through other weaker cards, and the weaker cards suddenly become great. It will help you win a lot of combats. It's almost equivalent to a 3-sword card. It's a fun card. However, overall, in terms of win rate, I don't think it sets you up for the win all the time. But it's a good card overall. Now onto the A tier. I'll be spending a little more time on these cards as I think they are more interesting to talk about. So with negotiated withdrawal, right? The on reveal, it grants you 2 persuasion, which is good already. We established that, and also it grants you the ability to get a faction bomb, assuming you withdraw 3 troops. So withdrawing 3 troops might seem like a high cost. You go to the city space, you put in 3 troops, right? This takes you out of combat, but actually, this makes it very hard for people to play around you. Whenever you put in troops into combat, they have to wonder, does he have a negotiated withdrawal in hand? Is he using it? So to try to beat you, they have to beat you by, let's say they put 4 troops in or 5 troops in, so they have to put an excessive amount of troops. And at that point in time, you can always withdraw and keep 1 troop in. Maybe you get 2nd or 3rd place. Which is great for 1 troop, right? Assuming you put in 4. Or if they do not put in enough troops, you can always stay in the fight, win the combat, get the victory point, or get the rewards. It's a very hard card for people to play around. Okay, so I'll link to a game where this card has carried me to multiple points. Negotiated withdrawal is a good card. So next on the A tier, we actually have landing rights. So why is Guild Chief Administrator the worst 4-cost card, and why is landing rights an A tier card? So shipping, we established, is good. But shipping on a combat space is way, way more powerful than on reveal. So I don't have games with this card, but I do have games where I have an intrigue card with a shipping icon in hand. So it functions similarly. So what happens is that you can ship down, you can get troops from shipping, you can get a faction bump, you bump your emperor, suddenly you can throw in 7 troops into combat, and that's equivalent to a highliner from a blue space. These turns are massive swings, and it's all enabled by a shipping icon on a combat space. So I think this is one reason why Handro is increasing in win rate. It's because people are figuring out how to use the shipping icon on a combat space. This is a great card. So the last of the cards is actually Siege Reverend Mother. So this card grants you good access to 2 good factions. Okay, so you have Fremen access and you have Bene Gesserit access. Fremen, you normally go early, and Bene Gesserit, you normally go late. It allows you to trash cards early, and late game it reveals for 3, which really enables you to buy Spice Muscles. It's a very clear spot in your deck, and a very clear use early and late in the game. Every time you play it, you get the equivalent of half a point. It is a great card. So I hope you enjoyed this tier list. I'll probably post a picture for easy reference. And if you do like this video, do like, comment, and subscribe. It'll help decide what content I do next in the future. See you around.